me, having 20 minutes of going over everything, showing me the exercise,
we go.
Everything's getting to outside voice.
Especially you.
I can't hear you. I'm joking. Speak up.
Okay. Making sure I can. Paperclips got all stuck to each other. Hang on 1 second. We're almost done. All right. We are going to pass back to you to start with gains, which I've already signed, and we are going to TA on gains. We're going to TA on the bus operators. We're going to TA on PLC advisory committee, and also sources of strength. So I'm going to pass those in a group to you.
Okay,
We can-
you've already signed
I've
yourself?
already signed them. If you, yeah, take a and sign them, and we'll get that done. We'll hand them out the rest of the pot. Yeah, we'll do all that.
You want 1 or 2 copies, Jesse?
Yeah, we
Let me
need
get
two
the two back.
changes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Two. There you go.
No. Just regular introductory.
All right, there.
Yeah, we
There
got
we
it.
go.
All right. Bring it over to your side. Teachers providing class coverage. We're good with staying in MOU. We did make 2 changes just because we noticed, number 1, the date was wrong at the top, 2027, and also we fixed what we believe to be a typo of teacher's classroom. It was not a great grammar, but it's what made it work. I have no idea how long that might have been wrong, but good there.
Yeah.
Just those two.
You're good.
Are you good with that piece?
You're adding the red.
We're good.
Yeah, we just changed the red.
That was missing?
Yeah, it just said teacher's classroom, something, nothing. So, and it
All
could have
right,
been there
so
for, could have been there for years.
You,
We'll sign the edited version right now here. Is that
If
what
you want to, yeah, down with
we
that.
can do that?
there's 3 copies.
Yeah, you do 2003 and I'll get them. That I sold.
Use like a slide.
This will be the only time we're here. This will be for us.
There's 2 to start.
Oh,
no.
nice catch.
You get years of
Had
martial
one
arts
job.
training finally came to fruition.
Catching paper.
Okay, I'm gonna let you do that.
And Jesse, we'll just take this one back.
Oh,
When you sign it.
got it. This one's for y'all.
Thank you.
One for me, and I'm just gonna keep it while I got it. Good, that's good. Save on that. All right. you, one for me. Paid parental leave. I understand we want to collect a little data on that. That's fine. In that case, problem is we wait 2 or 3 years to collect all that data. I got people having babies right now, and I want to keep this incrementally moving for the people. We, instead of asking 15, you dropped it back to 5. We'd like to go with 7. We can get it up to 7 days of paid parental leave. Adding a couple days, we feel doesn't change the number too terribly much, we hope. And then therefore we could take a look at that. That's an ask.
Okay. Any questions on that, Patrick? Anybody? Have that? Pretty simple ask. Okay.
All right. Double checking to make sure. Give me 1 second, I'm sorry. Okay, that's why that looks like that. The printer started to run out of ink, so I'm double checking something. So I want to make sure I'm getting this in correctly. Okay. I'm going to give transfers back.
Thank you.
And let's just talk about that because it's hard to see because the color I chose was a vibrant purple that the printer didn't agree with. So we'll just be ready to circle the parts and talk about it. Okay. A, we're good until 7. 7, we're gonna come back and ask a second time with you know, a little bit of, I guess, vehemence. We really believe that if a person does not get a transfer, they should get some kind of notification. It does not have to be a very complicated email, but people can't grow if they don't know, and they need to know why they're not getting moved over. And if you weren't a good fit, we felt like your curricula, your knowledge wasn't good. That's number 7. What are we doing? Early. Oh, okay. Amendment on that. Go back up to number 2, please. On number 2, the word early in early internal transfer should be in purple. It is not. I will get you a better printed.
So you just added
I'm gonna
early.
give, yes.
Just
add
trying
the
to
word early.
differentiate between the period, you know,
Yep.
before June 1st and the period that then
That
happens
also
after.
occurs in number 4, early internal transfer. So on 2, early internal transfer, 4, early internal transfer. I will get you electronic copies that highlight this.
And should we then also add in 6 as well? Just for consistency.
No, because we said that was after the.
No, because
cutoff.
Okay,
that was
that's
after the
the-
cutoff.
okay,
That was
got
not
it.
right.
Okay, we're just trying to differentiate between the two before and after.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay.
Great.
7, we would like to make sure they get a notification back.
If they request it, right? So it just says if someone wants to know, like, hey, why did that not work out? They should get some kind of response.
Right. And then moving on down, good at 3, good at B, all the way to E. All right. We had some conversation about E. We'd like to put it back in here. Association building representative shall be exempt from involuntary transfers and or provide continuity representation as agreed upon by the association president. While we went to caucus, we literally talked to a person who was here who had been involuntarily transferred and believed they had been involuntarily transferred because of a situation like this. Remember, this affects a very small portion of people, and we're not saying they can't be transferred. We're just saying that you have to ask the president if that's going to be all right. So that way we can easily know without having someone stick their neck out that they feel they're being targeted as opposed to that. And then a conversation could ensue in which we might be able to come to a conclusion that person can be transferred in that. And I recognize you guys need to transfer people. That might happen to a building representative, but we also have to recognize the fact that some principals are going to say they're having a hard time with a building rep and get that transferred. That might not be above board. We'd like everything to be, everybody be protected who takes on that job. Any questions on those?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I guess my question is, I believe, and I don't know the article off the top of my head,
Yes,
that there are provisions already in the article that doesn't allow us to obviously discriminate against anyone on the basis of being part of the union. Would that portion of the contract not also protect our union reps?
want to defer to the boss.
Because my argument would be, if that's occurring, we certainly want to know about that.
Right.
Because I believe that provision's already in there to protect anyone as part of the union.
I would want to look, Parker, at
Okay.
what
Yeah.
article you're supposed to.
Yeah, and I can look too.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
can share that with
Yeah,
me.
absolutely.
Union concerted activities are protected.
Right.
Right? But, and being a building rep is certainly a union concerted activity, but I think it'd be hard to draw a clear line between you're transferring someone, there's so many reasons, and right now, this is a managerial right. It's, if you transfer them, we don't really have an argument to say, well, why are you doing that? So, and we might know, or we might make assumptions, but right now, we can't necessarily draw that line, I don't think. I do think that this language is called for, and I think a good leader is not necessarily trying to move their reps out, right? And I think a good leader probably acknowledges that having that rep there and having that relationship and having someone staying in that position for a long time is valuable to them, and you're not trying to necessarily transfer that person out, but that's not all the time. So that's what we're trying to get to, and I think if you have a different idea on how we can make that happen, I think we're open to a counter about that.
So Parker, if I can interject, Article 2, which is
That's
the
early.
employee and association rights, and then number
Right.
1, it specifically talks about the rights of the employee to be a member of the union, and that there should not be any discrimination involved in that.
Absolutely.
I think the purpose of this language, of the transfer language, is to identify and spark the conversation that would lead us back to that, right? So it's hard sometimes it's going to be hard to say that that's going to apply and someone needs to look at it unless something comes up somewhere that makes that conversation have to happen. And therefore, this language would open up an area for someone to say, all right, this needs to be checked to make sure that that's not being violated. Because this is the check on that number. That's my thought off the top of my head.
Aside from the way it was presented is there's a fear of anti-union sentiment. Essentially, if I become a building rep, I'm going to have to do things that may be contrary to my administration, and I don't want a target being painted on my back. That's how it's presented, right? Aside from that, is there anything else motivating the language being put in?
No, I mean, that's
I think you
the
hit
idea.
it. The worry is really that an administrator would be unhappy with having a building rep challenge what they're doing based on contractual obligations, and then would be upset with that person challenging. And this, I will say, is an identifiable real thing where principals have in the past come in and thrown the contract around the room a little bit physically, like they're not hyperbole, and told people that they're upset about the things the contractor making them do, and definitely making building reps feel uncomfortable at the very minimum. And like I said, I had one lady tell me right off the bat that she felt that she'd been transferred because of that before. So this is a real thing that happens for us.
Did that person that you spoke to, has it ever elevated to district
I was
level?
gonna say, agreeable,
Yeah,
all
I'm
of those
unaware.
pieces.
That I don't know about.
Okay.
But I mean, it's something we could start doing. I don't know that we traditionally challenge transfers, but
Well, I would certainly want you to challenge anything if you felt like it was a discriminatory act. Like
Right.
that would be we don't want
Yeah.
that either. To your point, I think we hope everyone does the right thing, but
Right.
that's certainly why we're here, to ensure that those things are not
And
occurring.
that's really why the language is in the article, in Article 2.
I'd certainly be curious about the one you're also just from
we can have a.
make sure we
we can have a
address anything
conversation
we
about
need to.
stuff.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
No, but I mean, and just to tack on a little bit, and it's the reality of it. Like, sorry. I mean, we hear and obviously discuss the things that you raise, and there's other areas where it's, you brought up things where it's like, these are things that we're hearing that need to be addressed. Obviously, we're all here at the table. We understand or believe we understand why we're doing the things that we're doing, or we're putting the language in that we're putting in. You leave the table and you go advise your membership. We leave the table, we go advise the administrators. It's just difficult sometimes, like on this, where it's like, we need to change the contract because of this concern. And you're hearing from your group, but we're not.
Right.
And so that's why I asked the question, is it coming from that perspective? So I would encourage, if there are things happening,
Yeah.
when we come to the table, we agree on a contract, and we're telling our administrators, you need to do these things. It shouldn't be throwing the contract at you saying, I don't want to do this. That's not what this is supposed to be.
Right.
But we can't address unless it's brought up. So if there are building reps that feel like, hey, I'm getting a raw treatment here because I'm stepping up, we need to know so that we can then turn back and say, listen, the contract protects these folks
Correct.
in that position. You can't do that.
Yeah, so Terry, and I appreciate that, and maybe I wasn't thinking about the question in the way that you're talking about it now, because we may not have brought something on that map of an individual, but I will say that our union president, I don't want to call out names or call
No, that's
out
fine.
schools, but our union president has had conversations with HR about entire schools with all the reps saying, we're out because of the
Sure.
environment at a school.
Sure.
And I think we can, so like, conversations have been happening. They're not completely
Right.
out.
But I think it's important for us to have we want to have the ability, if we were to say, yeah, okay, yes, this individual is targeting based on representation, that I want to address the behavior of the individual, the employee who's doing that, the principal, assistant, whatever the case is, right? And I think that's where
Yeah, and I
Mr.
think
Harmon's
we've
going
had
with
those.
regards to that, right?
I feel like peek behind the curtain how my approach to this is. There are basically two things that drive pretty much everything I'm gonna write down in here and come out here and argue. I don't want to waste a whole lot of my own time. So something has to fit basically two forms. Either the membership comes to me, or we put out a survey and they say this is the thing that hurts us the most. Come back and try and fight that out. And the second thing is I talk to the president, and then she tells me this is the thing that's happening over and over again, or has become a problem, needs to be addressed. And that's the other thing that drives what goes into these documents. Those are my goals at the end of the day. So I guess just telling you so you know we're on the same page.
It's good to hear it too, because then our takeaway sometimes is we got to be on the lookout for those
Correct.
types of things. Because if we don't know about it until we get to this table, and I'm not saying always, there are certain times, yes, absolutely, where issues get brought up, but sometimes issues do come out here and we're like, well, why would we change the comp? We've never heard of this before.
Right.
So it does help when you bring them out. That's why sometimes we push the questions, and I can respect you're out at the table. I don't want to name all the schools.
Yeah,
and all
no,
that.
no,
I
no,
get that
100%.
completely. But I would just say that maybe some more discussion about concerns would be helpful for us being able to address them.
And I will say, I think that you guys have brought a possible solution or a proactive plan that I think we're certainly looking into and considering that may also help with some of these feelings. So I just want you to know we are still reviewing and looking at that. Yeah.
I acknowledge that.
Okay. Some yours. And lastly, we're gonna hand back Article 6. Thank you. Help me with this one because they didn't print real well, so I gotta remember what we did. This is just CC, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Right. From what you gave us, we saw strike throughs. We took care of teacher providing class coverage in the MOU. Going down to CC, we've changed the language a little bit. We're asking for. We have the same idea. We're looking for equitability. We're looking for everybody to get the same shake. Every effort shall be made at the beginning of the school year for year-long courses or semester courses to provide for an equitable distribution of regular education students on any grade level or specialized area in the elementary schools and by subject and level in the secondary schools with respect to class size, discipline history, IEPs, and ability levels. While reasonable efforts should be made to maintain distribution levels as much as possible throughout the year, it is understood that mobility factors and timely accessibility of student information will impact distribution equity. The school principal, with input from classroom teachers, shall have the authority and responsibility to provide for the foregoing provisions. What we did here is we took language that came from Duval County, and we only made one change to their language, which was to include the word IEPs to make sure they're explicitly stated in this. And then said, we basically put this in and tried to use a bit of language that helps identify exactly what it is we want that might be able to come to some reasonable conclusion in the middle somewhere on this. Go ahead.
It really just asks for consideration at the beginning of the process. Is that when you're assigning classes and then when new students are coming in, that they're placed thoughtfully.
And so I think we are going to land on something. We're going to land on something with regards to this. I mean, we talked about it significantly in caucus. I don't know if it'll be this exactly, but we are going to put consideration in with some form of this language that, and I like the beginning where it says every effort, and I think that's a fair request. So we are going to land somewhere on this. It, like I said, it may not be this exact language, but we are going to look at a piece for that.
And I'm gonna throw in here, while writing this or digging this up, we were doing the work in there. I spoke to some people in the crowd, and one lady told me, she says, I'm in a classroom last year where I was doing Algebra 1, I had 16 IEPs. And 16 is a big number, right? And so it really drove us to try and pick this as.
Do they ever share with you, they dialogue with admin on that? Do they come back and say, hey, I spoke to my principal, this seems to be somewhat challenging, and where do we go from there? And this may not be time, but I'm asking because I think I agree we need to get here, but the pathway at the school is really important for that as well, with regards to that. I'm sorry, I look at it in the overall as the retention of our staff. When you look at the 0 to 5 teacher overwhelmed, we've got to make sure there's a pathway that creates an opportunity to have teachers and principals and admin or the LEAs to have conversations.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Representative, I did want to answer your question.
Okay.
And we actually had an example come up during caucus where they had an email from a principal where the principal just said no.
Okay, thank you.
Was there anything else in that one? Because it was just it. All right, I think that's everything we got.
Okay, so I talked to Jesse earlier this morning. We have a hard stop at 11 because we have a district meeting with FISBIT.
Right.
We're going to brief caucus and then come back quickly. I want to look through a few of these things to see what we can knock out before that. July 7th, I know we're on the books already, but give us a few minutes on these and we'll circle right back.
Okay, if you look for another date too after July 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're trying to, prior to a meeting, we're trying to set another meeting before we get to the table at that.
And then at the dual enrollment, we still have to look at that just from a data perspective. So we'll hopefully have something July 7th. And then same thing for PLCP and CET.
Yep.
We have to look at the funding sources, funding sources aren't what they were. So we'll bring those July 7th.
All right, thank you. Okay,
Could you speak up, please?
and,
Okay, we're good to go.
okay, so we are tabling these. I just want to share where we're at with what you passed. We are going to run some cost factors related to paid parental leave. We want to look at it related to available funding, what's compensation this year, all those pieces. So that's the rationale for the change. We are going to, like I said, cost that out. On the working conditions, we are going to implement in CC. We're going to craft some language to pass back to you to review. But we are very confident we're going to land on something that I think we'll all be in a good spot with. So that Parker's going to walk through a couple of the HR pieces.
So we have a counter, but neither time nor technology are on our side right now. So I'm going to walk you through it and then we'll drop it in the team so that you have it if you'd
Okay.
like to prepare a counter on the 7th. So for number 7, if you look at your old one, all we crossed out in that one would be in writing. So we don't disagree if an employee asks for feedback. We believe they should get that feedback, but we also want to allow that principal to maybe give a call if that's what they would prefer. So we don't disagree that we should have some feedback if we request it. And then we did cross back out E. I think, again, I think we believe that that's covered in Article 2. We certainly don't want reps to feel discriminated against. We think it's covered there. And I think we've also made a commitment to do some version of a principal building rep kickoff this year to hopefully create a positive environment for those individuals. So I think with those 2 items, I think we can make some progress here for those that maybe don't feel as comfortable. So we just got to figure out the logistics of that.
You're good with the word
Kickoff.
early in 2
Yes.
and 3? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right, and you're gonna drop that book. I'm gonna,
If you'll drop it first and then we'll,
yep,
Drop it back.
double drop.
but that would be that would be our counter. So.
Okay, I'm gonna put those in before I leave today.
All right, we're good on our end.
All right, date after the 7th.
Yeah, so our plan is to send you, definitely based on your availability dates that you send me, we'll send some stuff out. If you give me till end of business on Monday to send some, we're set for the 7th. End of business on Monday, we'll send some dates. I need to just make sure we're good, but I think several of those dates work.
Okay.
All right.
And then 14.
All right. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.